Hey coin collectors, it's DC on the Big D, and this is the Walking Liberty $50 from 1945. Just a beautiful coin. Says Liberty across the top, as you can see. In God We Trust down here in the back, in 1945 here. And let's talk first about just some of the design things that go on with this. We've talked a little bit about these coins before, and how the Liberty, the actual spelled word liberty, kind of gets taken up in the hair and in some of the other stuff. So here's a furling flag. The B is kind of behind the flag. The F looks like an F, doesn't it? But it's really an E, and Walking Liberty's head gets in the way, and then the R kind of comes in, this stylized R. And we've seen that originally. We noticed that, of course, in the Kennedy half, where the B, the E, and the R all kind of mix into the hair of Kennedy. And we said, where on earth did Gilroy Roberts get that from? And there's a G and the R for Gilroy Roberts, the engraver. And why did they kind of mimic it that way? We also have seen it in the Liberty, the Mercury dimes, where it does that. So it's something that coin engravers do. They always kind of pass on stuff that they've got from other coins to kind of let those coins live. What's going on in this one? Well, Liberty is walking. There's flowing robes. We can see the feet here, and shoes on there. These are not bare feet. This is an Adolf Alexander Weinman engraving, and when you look through it, you can kind of see it's very, very detailed engraving. The sun's coming up in front of Liberty. In God We Trust behind Liberty. Well, it turns out that not only did the Kennedy half Gilroy Roberts follow this Liberty kind of theme, but Adolf Alexander Weinman, we think, probably got this coin from somewhere else too. And this right here is a 1 franc coin from France. Republique Française says this is the French image of the sower, the Oscar Roti artwork, the sower, and it's a woman at sunrise sowing seeds into the field, like SOWER. And she's got a bag of seeds here, and she's throwing out the seeds, and that's how grain was spread when you were growing crops in the old days. And this image originally appeared on a French coin, as far as I know, in 1898, when the French silver 1 franc in the Third Republic came out. And that French 1 franc was around from 1898 until 1920 with this same image on it. This is a newer image that they brought over from the to the 5 franc in the 60s, I believe, and this is a 71. And of course, France doesn't have francs anymore at all. They have euros. But so Adolf Alexander Weinman probably kind of used this image as a guide, but Americanized it quite a bit. So the sun is in front rather than behind. The arms still extended, which is kind of a cool thing. Of course, we have the U.S. flag here rather than a field in France, and we don't have a barefoot sower either. We have a shoed Walking Liberty. Well, what's on the back of this coin? Well, first off, what's on the end of this coin? Okay, it has a bunch of the rim has reeds. They call it a reeded rim when you have this kind of thing on it, and we can tell by looking at it that it's mostly silver. In fact, it's 90% silver. Weighs 12.5 grams. Is 30.6 millimeters in diameter and 2.15 millimeters in thickness. They call this sometimes they call it a reeded rim, sometimes they call it a milled rim. If we go around the top, we see it says United States of America, E pluribus unum here, and it's an eagle on the back. And the eagle, again, is standing looking out, and there's vegetation here too. And then way down in here, there is a D. And this, of course, is for the Denver Mint. In 1945. So this is really near the end of the run for these coins. They first came out in 1916, and then they made the last one in 1947. So in 1945, we were getting right near. We essentially, this coin saw America. This half dollar saw America through World War One and World War Two. And so when we got to 1945, the Denver Mint, they made about 10 million of these. At the San Francisco they made 10.2 million. And at the Philadelphia Mint, with no, so San Francisco would have an S here. Philadelphia would have no mint mark there. At the Philadelphia Mint, in 1945, they made 31.5 million. There is Adolf Alexander Wyman's initials. It's an A, kind of a double AAW, if you can see that. So the big A is part of the W in the middle, and then there's another A below it, and then a W. So those are the initials. Then of course down here at the bottom it says half dollar. How much is this worth? $8 to $10. I think we bought it for 11, but it's a nice coin. All right, that's all we have today. This is DC saying thank you for watching the Big D Coin Channel. Please subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you might have in the comment section.